Definitely, I think the more you can play in different conditions, the more your game sort of grows. Whether you've been successful in the past or not, it's just great to be able to learn in different conditions. Definitely playing on this wicket, as you said, I've had a bit of experience here. It's not the easiest wicket to start on, and it's almost having a method and trust in a method that if you get through those tough times that you're able to cash in towards the end, especially when it gets a bit dewy under lights.
Is it just patience or different skills to that?
Definitely, I think that the fact that we restricted Bangladesh to 210 helped. I think if we were chasing 250, 260, it would have been different. We'd have had to go harder against their bowlers when they were bowling exceptionally well. They seemed to take wickets at the right times and just kept pegging us back, but credit to us, we sort of found ways of getting partnerships and getting over the line.
Here. Well, David, as he just said, you have vast experience of playing here in Dhaka. Can you just recall how you landed up a deal with the Premier League team in Dhaka? When was your first visit? And what was your experience or your interaction with this city or this ground?
I think it was O.A. Shah who messaged me and said that Ravi Bopara had got in touch and asked if I wanted to play a few games, 50 over games for Prime Dolishwa. They gave me the opportunity to come over here, which was fantastic. I think I played 2 seasons for them, which was brilliant of learning. I actually learned a hell of a lot about my game because in England the wickets are different. You can hit the ball a lot squarer. Out here the wickets are actually a bit skiddier when you play during the day. They get better as the game goes on and then slow down in the evening. So I had to learn how to play spin in a different way to what I played in England to be successful out here. So I think that actually helped my game progress massively before the franchise stuff started for me, which was a massive help.
Will?
Did you ever feel like that chase was kind of slipping beyond you and the team?
Yeah, I think so. When Jackson and I were batting, we were talking about never trying to let the rate go above 5.5s. We thought that would be the sort of benchmark where it would be tough for a new batter coming in, having to start, especially against their spinners who, everyone, no matter who it was, took a bit of time to get used to the wicket, and everyone was sort of 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 trying to get their rhythm going and trying to get used to the conditions. So we felt if it went above 5.5, one of us had to take a risk against the bowler to try and get it back down to under 5s to make it easier for someone to start. But as I said, I think we were lucky that it was such a small score and we had a short side that we sort of knew if we hit 2 or 3 out of the middle, the whole momentum of the game would change. Towards the end, we actually got it a bit closer to what we'd wanted. We probably wanted to win it with 2 or 3 overs to go instead of in that second last over. But yeah, look, we take that coming over here and playing on a wicket like that first up.
How you're obviously building a strong ODI record. How pleasing is it to make a score like that in a World Cup year when conditions are going to be identical, then are going to be a million miles away? How pleasing is that?
Yeah, look, it's just great to be playing for England, and to be getting an opportunity, especially in ODIs. I've carried the drink since 2017, waiting for opportunities, and I've only played 16 games now, so it's nice to get a bit of a run. Obviously, that's with circumstances, with scheduling and players being injured and not being available. But I've absolutely loved it. It's been really good. But yeah, look, it's always nice to contribute. It's always nice when you get the opportunity to win games of cricket, and I guess that's the satisfying part about it.
Oh.
Given how difficult it was out there, would you rank that as perhaps your worst and therefore by definition your best big score for England, given how difficult it was?
Yeah, I think even domestic cricket, talking about knocks that when you retire you'd walk away and be like, that was extremely satisfying, that would definitely be up there for me. Just the situation of the game, the conditions to actually be there at the end. A lot of the times you get the team close and you get out and then you're disappointed, but to actually be there at the end and make sure we won their game is extremely satisfying, and I'll probably say that's probably one of my better ones in my whole career.
Did you feel like by the end you kind of knew what was going on, or was it still a bit, just a nightmare?
I don't know, it definitely got a little bit dewy. The ball definitely felt like it was skidding on a little bit more. That was always, I think that's why we started a bit earlier here, because the dew plays a massive factor here. And when Wokesy came in, we felt the ground and we could feel it definitely dewing up a little bit. So, we definitely thought it would probably get slightly easier towards the end if we were still in the game, and the key is just to keep yourself in the game for as long as possible.
Son?
It kind of felt like a good partnership of getting England over the line.
but as batters kept falling, in fact, like the pressure on yourself kept growing and growing. How do you deal with that pressure? Do you feel it at all in the middle?
Definitely feel it, especially when you have a few quiet ones. With me and Mo, I think I blocked out a maiden there at some point, and then Mo had a quiet one. I definitely felt like we were sort of giving the momentum back, but to some extent there. But you know, I think we as batters, we bat so often that we're used to dealing with that. I guess the credit needs to be given to the tail enders there. I mean, Adil Rashid coming in there and playing how he played, hitting the ball against the spin, which no one has been able to do the whole day. I guess they're the guys that don't really bat in those situations very often. They either have to come and slog it, or they're trying to sort of get the game to some sort of situation. So it was nice to have someone with a bit of experience there who trusted his game. Every time I tried to speak to him, he just stopped me. Then he was like, "I know what I'm doing." So that was really easy, and you know, he's got 10 first-class hundreds. So yeah.
There was that one out we got in the shout basically early on that was umpire scoring review. Any nerves when that went upstairs?
I said to Joss at the time, I thought it was close. He said straight away he didn't think so. The guard that I bat on, I felt it was either a bit outside the line or sliding with the angle, but it was a bit closer than I thought. So thankfully he didn't give it out.
Gibbo?
Matthew Mark was telling us last year, last year, how sort of forthright you've been about going to him and saying, you know, ODI cricket, that's my best format. I mean, how pleasing is it, I guess, to back up that? Because it's quite a big thing to do, I guess, even for an established cricketer to actually put your cards on the table. How does it feel to follow that through?
Yeah, great. It's just nice to get the opportunity. Like I said, I've been carrying the drink since 2017 and seen a lot of other guys get given opportunities because of their age or whatever it is. They got given a lot of opportunities, and I've just ended up carrying the drinks. But you know, when there was a new leadership, when Morgs retired, he was fantastic for me in being clear about where I stood. Always thought that I could still play a role in the 2023 World Cup, but because I was playing the T20s, it was an opportunity to give and grow the squad for the younger players. So I understood that totally. But as soon as you have a new coach and a new captain, it gives you an opportunity to sit down and speak to the coach. And I think the fantastic thing, I mean, all the coaches have been great with England, but you know, Motti listens, and he, I guess, because he hasn't been involved in English cricket for a while, he sort of comes and watches and makes his own assessments of things instead of having preconceived ideas, which a lot of people have. You know, one of the things I said to him is, you know, not to pigeonhole me as a certain type of player. I've played 50 odd games for England in T20. If you need me to bat 5, I can play it like a T20. If you need me to open, I can play it like a T20. If you want me, just tell me the role you want to play. I've always played when Ruti's not played, so I've had to fulfil a certain role that he always and has fulfilled so well for so many years. You know, so if they need me to play a different way, I can play whatever way they want me to play. Just give me the opportunity to do it. And he's been very good with that and very clear with me about it.
So having opened a month ago, it's what I'm sure you had the gears there in different conditions. When you came here, was it made clear that you'd be batting clean? How did you feel about that?
Yeah, look, as I said, I'm just happy to get the opportunity. I prefer to open. That's the position I've always opened in domestic cricket. Once I've started becoming established, I think it was 2012 or something like that, or whatever it was, I started opening the batting. So I think over the past few years, since I batted 3 for England in T20 cricket, I think it's been lost that I'm actually an opening batter, and that's the role that I've always fulfilled. So it was nice to get the opportunity to do that. But look, the wording to me has been they see me as a top 3 batter, and they see I can bat any position depending on what they want to go with a structure of a team, or if players are not available or what have you. And you know, it's just for me to fit in as and where they need a player at that time. So for me, it's another opportunity just to prove that I can bat wherever. And yeah, it's satisfying to do it.
Have you felt the pressure of the World Cup being on?
Not at all. It's for me to chase the squad more than me being someone that's fixed and under pressure to keep performing to stay in the squad, if that makes sense. So it gives me an opportunity to just go and bat and play the situation as I see it and try and win a game of cricket, which is something I enjoy more than looking at a stat or what your first 10 balls or first 100 balls or whatever it is. It's about how many games you win and what percentage you can contribute to those wins, and that's what I pride myself on. And thankfully the last 2 games I've contributed to wins, which is extremely satisfying for myself.
So we'll finish with you.
Yeah, well batted.
It's obviously a very different challenge when you're kind of chasing 200 total on a wicket like that compared to when you're sort of chasing 350 plus on a good batting track. Can you talk about the different sort of mindset in your approach?
Yeah, I think that the hardest thing with it is that you always feel like you're behind the game. You look up and you think, you know, we're 80 off 23 or 24 overs. Like, I mean, if you're doing that in a normal game, you're panicking a little bit and you're trying to put your foot down, but trying to understand that, you know, you can lose the game in the first 30, 35 overs here, but if you're still batting by that time, you're actually in with a good shot of winning the game in these specific conditions. If you're chasing 350, you obviously can't just nudge it around for a bit. You've got to be able to take the game on earlier and take on, push the game forward at those times. So yeah, I think that the hardest thing is actually, and we spoke about it before the game, is actually understanding that you could be a long way behind in your own feelings of the game, but actually in the context of the game, you're actually only 2 or 3 or 4 shots away from the game being in your balance again. So it's trying to make sure that when you feel like you're under pressure is you know, making sure that you're clear on that.
Cool, thank you all.